Shaheem Reed, we're here with Zoe Kravitz. First of all, I have to congratulate you. Had a lot of fun watching the movie, and I was just amazed. Like, you had so many of my favorites in the cast. The cast was incredible. What was it like, pulling together, all of these Christian Slater, Gina Davis, Haley? What was it like pulling everybody together?
It was amazing. I feel like, you write these parts and you get things together, and especially for an ensemble cast, it can be really difficult to get great actors in smaller parts, even though they're not small in the scheme of things, but obviously, they're movie stars,
Right.
But I feel like when you write a script that has so much meaning behind it, that people who really respond to it just want to be a part of that. And so, everyone wanted to be there and wanted to be a part of the story. And specifically the men, being allies and really wanting to show up for this was amazing.
Yeah, there was some scenes that were just, really tough. When we, and we'll warn the people that this may be a spoiler, but when the reveal happens, that it's not just paradise. It's some very horrific, sinister things going on. What was it like just directing some of these things that were very, very brutal?
It was, of course it was difficult, but it was also really beautiful in the way that the cast at that point were very, very close. We had many conversations as a group about what we were making and why. We had nights with all the girls talking and spending time and bonding. We had nights with all the men spending time together and bonding, thanking thanking each other for the work that we were doing and for going to uncomfortable places.
Right.
And I think sometimes, especially if you're in a safe environment, when you have to work out those things, it can be therapeutic in a way, and everyone felt safe. And I think we're all very proud of the fact that we were able to go there.
Yes. I want to talk about some more about the casting. Of course, Channing, he did a fantastic job, and I'll get to him in a second, but I want to ask you about Frida, Naomi. And I'm looking at her on the screen, and very beautiful woman. Gorgeous, but dark-skinned woman. She has a gap in her tooth, and she just looks like one of the girls. We were just talking about New York City. She looks like one of our girls from right around the way. She could be from Bed-Stuy. She could be from Southside Queens. And it was so great to see that type of image have this big role in a Hollywood movie. Can you tell me about casting her?
I mean, she is one of the most talented actors I have ever witnessed.
Yes.
She is able to hold so much emotion at one time, different emotions at one time, and her face is just so expressive. And, I wrote this script obviously from my perspective, so it was written, by a black woman.
Yes.
And, when trying to cast Frida, I wasn't necessarily, I knew she'd be a black woman. I wasn't focused on, what shade of black will she be. But when I saw Naomi and saw her work, I just thought, oh my God, it was just undeniable. This is about her. And, this story is, I believe, elevated by, what she looks like and where she comes from. That moment, without spoiling anything, at the end is so much more triumphant because of who she is.
Yes. So I got to ask you about Channing. We just had a great time watching him in Deadpool, Wolverine. What is it like for you to see him live that dream of getting to be Gambit in the movie, and then, a couple of weeks later or a month later, we see him in this movie where he's a charmer but also has a very sinister side? Can you tell me about the range as well?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, he's had quite the summer. He had a film called Fly Me to the Moon come out, which was a great rom-com, and then Deadpool, and then this. And so it's been, as his partner, I'm just so excited for him. And having those things back to back is so incredible because he does have incredible range. And I don't know if that's something that people always associate with him, which is part of the reason I wanted him to play this part. I knew that he had so much talent and so much depth and could do so much more than we'd seen him do. So it's Channing Tatum summer, man. That's what we're talking about.
Yes. Is this more the music in the movie? Is this more of your taste, or is this more Slater King's taste in the movie?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's more mine. We didn't have a music supervisor, so that was just kind of me putting in stuff that I loved. And you know, music is so important in cinema. It can change everything. And there's something about, I don't know, disco and funk, and you know, it has so much energy and soul behind it. And I think I was also just thinking about what I want to dance to, you know what I mean? So yeah, the music in itself kind of became a character in the film. And there's great juxtaposition too between what's going on and the sinisterness of that, and like the soul and the funk of that music.
I want you to just answer this question, because this will solve a debate that we had after watching the movie.
I like that there's debates. I like
right.
it.
Well, a bunch of our journalist friends, we got a chance to see it. We had a great time watching it. And again, we'll wait until the movie is well out, because we don't want to spoil anything. But at the end, what happens at the end? Is Frida more motivated by money and the power over revenge, or is having the money and the power the ultimate revenge?
That's a great question. I mean, she says at the beginning of the film, success is the best revenge. And so I think there is a version of her that is winning by taking care of herself, right? By making her life better. But I think the other question that we need to ask ourselves is, was it worth it, the trauma that she had to endure to get there?
Right.
And is she continuing a cycle, or is she ending one? And that's something that I leave, you know, for the audience to decide.